Good afternoon and welcome to the midweek edition of The World Today. It is the Southwestern Network program of Radio Nigeria, Ibadan Zonal Station, comprising news and feature. In the lineup, police summon Senator Fadaunsi over alleged death threats on Osun election. Ogun State Governor tasks monarchs on mobilizing subjects for election. Firefighters battle spread of wildfire in Indonesia. Drone attack claims lives in southern Russia. Heart of the matter is on the theme Different Contexts, Common Aspirations, as the world celebrates Youth's Day, while the feature is on Crooked Forests. My name is Nidams and reading with me is Olubukola Enimola.
Good afternoon. You can also listen to us on live stream on www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng and Facebook at Premier FM 93.5. As the rainy season continues, let us warm ourselves, keep cold ablaze. The Commissioner of Police in charge of the 2026 Osun State governorship election, Mr. Samuel Itaifo, has condemned a recent statement attributed to the senator representing Osun East Senatorial District, Senator Francis Fadaunsi, which has generated backlash among stakeholders and members of the public. In a statement signed by the Public Relations Officer of the Command, Mr. Abiodun Ojelabi, Mr. Itaifo said in this critical period of the electoral process, political leaders and public office holders are expected to exercise restraint, promote peace, and refrain from making comments capable of heightening tension in the forthcoming election. While reaffirming the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force to neutrality, professionalism, and the protection of democratic values, Mr. Itaifo emphasized that the police would not tolerate any act, tolerance, utterance, or conduct capable of inciting violence and disrupting public peace. The Commissioner of Police had invited Senator Francis Fadaunsi to provide clarification on the statement and to foster mutual understanding in the interest of peace and security. He reiterated that the invitation should not be misconstrued as an act of intimidation, but rather as part of proactive measures aimed at preventing the escalation of the tension and ensuring a peaceful, free, fair, and credible governorship election in Osun State.
Similarly, the rising cost of living and economic hardship have continued to be a source of worry to Nigerians, especially the people of Osun State. Residents are increasingly expressing concern about their economic well-being and the need to put in place good policies that would improve their standard of living. As the state prepares for another political dispensation, correspondent Adejoke Adebisi examines the key economic issues affecting the people of the state and candidates' plans to address them.
Whatever affects the economy also affects the people. That is why residents admit that their daily survival depends on how the next administration plans to address long-standing problems of poverty, unemployment, and rising prices of goods and services. Speaking with Radio Nigeria, an agriculture expert, Mr. Samuel Adesoyewu, observed that most farm settlements in the state are faced with encroachment from mining exploration, complained about poor access to farm inputs, storage facilities, and bad rural roads, making it difficult to move farm produce to the market.
Nowadays, there are no enough equipment, and that is keeping the younger ones away from agriculture.
Mr. Adesoyewu said Osun residents need concrete solutions, not mere campaign promises, maintaining that the next governor must work towards saving the state from imminent environmental degradation, internally generated revenue, rather than relying solely on federal government allocation. Also speaking, a trader, Mrs. Ella Adebayo, observed that industrial sector remains underdeveloped with few functional factories, citing epileptic power supply and multiple taxation as major major setbacks for small-scale business in the state.
They can create a platform where the grants give out soft loans with little or no interest rates. They look at, fish out those people who they know they're actually serious, they have business idea or they have a business working, they just need funds. That will really help a lot of business people.
Mrs. Adebayo, who complained that poor power supply has crippled most businesses in the state, tasked the next governor to address this problem. In our opinion, a youth, Ms. Oluwanifemi Adefemi, maintained that employment is the first proof of a safe, secure and prosperous future. Hence, the need for the new governor to deliberately make youth employment a priority.
It would be nice for the government to actually create more hostels in school areas. That way, it will be more easier for students to afford accommodation.
Ms. Adefemi, who expressed optimism of a better Osun, emphasized the need to address insecurity problem facing the state to attract investors, noting that development can only thrive in an atmosphere of peace. However, with the governorship election around the corner, candidates have rolled out their economic plans. The incumbent governor and candidate of Accord, Senator Ademola Adeleke, noted that the new version of his 5 points agenda includes integrated youth, women, workers' welfare, and empowerment infrastructure consolidation for citizen social and economic well-being, agro-industrial expansion for human development and collective prosperity, affordable qualitative health, education access, and secure business environment for job creation.
We will encourage stimulation of local economy and investment drive in a safe operating environment. Agreed revolution that will provide affordable food for all.
Senator Adeleke stressed that his administration had fulfilled the promises it made to the people during 2022 election campaign, stressing that greater achievements lay ahead for the state if it secures a second term. On his part, the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate Asiwaju Bola Oyebamiji unveiled the 7 points manifesto tagged Prosper for poverty alleviation through good welfare and job creation, responsive governance, opportunities for economic growth, security, productive agriculture, education, healthcare delivery, and renewed investment in infrastructure.
Our development agenda is anchored on a clear and practical framework represented by the acronym PROSPER. Under also prosperity agenda, we shall pay serious attention to poverty alleviation, workers' welfare, and job creation.
Asiwaju Oyebamiji maintained that his vision is to ensure a more prosperous, inclusive, and resilient state. Also speaking, the governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dr. Najim Salam, said if elected, he will prioritize workers' welfare, pensioners' well-being, agricultural development, youth empowerment, quality healthcare, education, and investment promotion.
I will encourage farmers. I promise the people of the state that there will be 24 hours electricity in the state.
Dr. Salam observed that challenge confronting the state was not a lack of potential, but the need for purposeful leadership, strategic planning, and responsible governance to unlock available opportunities. In Ilesha, Adejoke Adebisi, Radio Nigeria.
Also, political parties and their candidates in Osun State are stepping up campaigns with different proposals to improve the education sector, as stakeholders maintain that it is not enough to make promises but to ensure such proposals are actualized. In this report, Olufunke Adeosun in Ilesha examines education-related issues in the election campaigns and candidates' policies and proposals for improving the educational sector.
Education is the bedrock of any society. It is an investment in the people for today and the future of the nation. In Osun State, the education sector is characterized with many challenges, such as shortage of teachers, dilapidated structures in schools, poor learning outcomes, inadequate budget, and lack of preparation towards moving to CBT examinations. Education has now become a central campaign issue because it affects every home, with political candidates promising residents improved standard of education, but many of these promises have not translated into reality in previous elections. In an interview with Radio Nigeria, a public analyst, Mr. Sunday Akinyemi, who observed that no nation could develop more than the level of its education, tasked policy makers in the education sector to fix indiscipline, truancy, and cultism in schools.
I believe majority of all these parties, they are giving us paperwork in the sense that let us just fabricate something and give to them. Is that going to be revolution in the educational sector in Osun State? Without that, I doubt it.
Mr. Akinyemi maintained that most people nowadays could not defend their certificates as a result of syndrome of teachers helping students pass examination, which has totally lowered the standard of education. In his contribution, an educationist, Mr. Oyeleke Omigbodun, noted that since WAEC and NECO are moving fully to computer-based tests, CBT, candidates should have focused more on how to improve electricity in schools and install computers to prepare the students from basic class to university level in their manifestos.
We should have electricity across Osun State to be able to power computer systems, whether by solar system or by their own tapping into the new law in Nigeria that allows state governments to be involved in power generation, distribution, and transmission.
Mr. Omigbodun also called for free education at all levels, noting that this would assist the less privileged in the society to send their children to school. Also speaking, a school proprietor, Mr. Opeyemi Babalola, who was more concerned about allocating more funds to the education sector, maintained that proper policies must be put in place rather than candidates paying ordinary lip service to citizens to gain their votes.
In some other countries, they put focus on digital technology, how it can help them, about entrepreneurship skills and other skills that can even make the students to stand on their own.
Mr. Babalola appealed to any party that will be voted in to take education from learning theory to learning practical, especially in the area of entrepreneurship, to make students self-reliant after graduation. In his proposal for an improved education in Osun State, the incumbent governor and the candidates of the Accord, Senator Ademola Adeleke, promised massive school rehabilitation across the state and improved public examination performance, which has moved up to 7th position in the NECO ranking for 2024 and 2025 from 33rd position in 2022.
Our target is to ensure our schools are well equipped and teachers highly trained and motivated.
Senator Adeleke promised continuous teachers and staff welfare by prioritizing the welfare, training, and working condition of teachers across the state, including the implementation of revised salary structures and cooperative deductions for tertiary staff. On his part, the All Progressive Congress APC governorship candidate, Asiwaju Bola Oyebamiji, promised that if voted into power, his administration will revitalize the education sector in the state through his 7-point agenda.
We will strengthen financial management and ensure that public resources are used for the benefit of all.
Asiwaju Oyebamiji said he would ensure public tertiary institutions established with taxpayers' fund remain affordable, noting that many parents now struggle to pay the current school fees of their children. In his proposal, the governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dr. Najim Salam, said he would declare a state of emergency in the education sector to fast-track infrastructural and administrative recovery, as well as broaden nationwide access to equitable and high-standard education for all. In Ilesha, Olufunke Adeosun, Radio Nigeria.
And still on Osun elections, candidates of different political parties in Osun State are intensifying activities to solicit the support of the electorate. The key factors have different manifestos to pass their message to the people in a bid to gain their trust. Correspondent Mojisola Oladele in this special report reviews the campaign activities, promises, messages, and strategies deployed by the governorship candidate to win the forthcoming governorship election in the state.
In preparation for the 15th August Osun governorship poll, various strategies have been deployed by politicians and political parties to attract the attention of the electorate with the main objective of winning the election. The different strategies include political rallies and campaigns, news conferences, and street walks to showcase their plans to the people of Osun State. Speaking with Radio Nigeria on the strategies employed by candidates to showcase their intentions to the residents, our political analyst, Mr. John Adesuyi, noted that each political party has been giving messages of hope for a better future for the people, including promises of adequate security of lives and property, creation of conducive environment for businesses to thrive.
Every party has their own strategies. We have
rally, this and that. They are all part of what we need to do.
Mr. Adeshuye explained that most political parties embarked on peaceful campaign except for pockets of alleged political violent attacks recorded in May, June and July this year, before the commencement of campaign activities. In his reaction, a public commentator, Mr. Wahid Saka, maintained that it is unfortunate that some candidates had not sufficiently addressed the plight of the people, noting that an average man on the street is more interested in candidates addressing hunger and poverty in the land.
On paper, they have good manifesto, whether it's the APC or the PDP. On paper, the manifesto is good. And even the other smaller political parties, ADP, have good manifesto too, and anyone that you can think of. But where are the discussion? Where are the dialogue around it?
Mr. Saka condemned the strategy of inducing residents with money under the guise of empowerment few weeks to the election, stressing that this is tantamount to vote buying. Also speaking, the candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dr. Najim Salam, promised to deploy non-kinetic security strategies, deliver improved healthcare services, environmental protection, workers' welfare, agricultural revitalization, job creation, and empowerment of the people. Dr. Salam said ADC's philosophy is anchored on vision, sound ideas, and progressive leadership, pledging to maintain regular engagement with residents of the state if he emerged as the governor. On his part, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Alhaji Bola Oyebanji, explained that his Prosper agenda stands for poverty alleviation through good welfare and job creation, responsive governance, opportunities for economic growth, improved security, productive agriculture, education, and renewed investment in infrastructure.
We are going to work in the development of agriculture in this environment. Apart from infrastructural development, we are going to bring into this environment.
Alhaji Oyebamiji emphasized that his vision for the state is to ensure a more prosperous, inclusive, and resilient state, as he is ready to deliver transparent governance and also ensure that communities are secured. The incumbent governor, who is also the Accord governorship candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, said his upgraded 5-point agenda, which is built on 5 key pillars, were designed to consolidate on his first-term achievements. He outlined the key 5 objectives to include integrated citizens and workers' welfare, infrastructure consolidation, agro-industrial expansion, improved business environment for job creation, innovations for health, education, and social care. Senator Adeleke assured residents and his supporters that he would continue the various developmental projects if re-elected in the forthcoming governorship election. In Ilesha, Mojisola Oladele, Radio Nigeria.
Away now from Osun State, we go to Ogun State, where the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has urged traditional rulers across the state to mobilize their subjects for active participation in the 2027 general election and ensure the polls are conducted peacefully. Governor Abiodun made the call at the inauguration of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Gbadibo, as the new chairman of the Ogun State Council of Obas in Abeokuta, the state capital. The governor urged the monarchs to use their influence at the grassroots to educate their subjects on the need to shun violence, thuggery, and other acts capable of disrupting the electoral process. He said his administration had put mechanisms in place to discourage political thuggery, noting that the recent APC primary election in the state was peaceful and crisis-free. Governor Abiodun also commended the monarchs for their support to security agencies, announcing that all suspects linked to the abduction of 7 Gateway ICT Polytechnic students had been apprehended. In his acceptance speech, the new chairman, Oba Adedotun Gbadibo, commended Governor Abiodun for his developmental strides and pledged to foster unity among traditional rulers.
This is the world today, the stories that made the headline. Police have summoned Senator Fadausi over alleged death threats on Osun election. Ogun State Governor has tasked monarch on mobilizing subjects for elections. Still to come, firefighters battle spread of wildfire in Indonesia and drone attack claims lives in southern Russia. Do stay with us.
Thank you for staying tuned. You're still on to the world today, reaching on the Southwestern network of Radio Nigeria. Now move to the foreign scene. Indonesia firefighters are making efforts to contain wildfires that have burned more than 107,000 hectares of land nationwide. Authorities have deployed cloud seeding aircraft to help extinguish the fires, while some schools in affected provinces have suspended classes for 3 consecutive days. Indonesia, like other parts of Southeast Asia, is facing a longer hot and dry season this year, fueled by a more intense El Nino climate event, which some have nicknamed the Godzilla El Nino. The haze has also blanketed parts of Malaysia, pushing the air pollution index in a small town in the state of Marakwak to an unhealthy level of 195.
Russia and Ukraine have traded deadly overnight drone attacks, killing 4 persons in Ukraine's southern port city of Kherson and towns along Russia's southern Black Sea coast. According to regional officials, a Ukrainian drone attack on Novorossiysk overnight killed a child, injured another woman and child, and damaged many buildings, including homes. According to the terminal's owner, Demetra Holden, drone attacks also damaged the Novorossiysk grain terminal. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine's military used jet-powered drones, missiles, and unmanned naval systems to target a naval base in Novorossiysk, hitting air defense positions, pairs, and support infrastructure.
Heart of the Matter today takes a look at the theme, different contexts, common aspirations, as the world celebrates Youth's Day.
Every August 12, the world rises in unison to mark Youth Day, a day set aside by the United Nations to draw attention to the challenges facing young people and to celebrate their contributions to the society. The idea for International Youth Day was proposed in 1991 by the young people who were gathered in Vienna, Austria, for the first session of the World Youth Forum of the United Nations system. The forum recommended that an International Youth Day be declared especially for fundraising and promotional purposes to support the United Nations Youth Fund in partnership with youth organizations. In 1998, therefore, a resolution proclaiming August 12 as International Youth Day was adopted by the first session of the World Conference of Ministers responsible for youths. This year's theme, Different Contest, Common Aspirations, recognizes that although young people live in different countries and face different circumstances, they share many common aspirations: quality education, decent employment, good health, participation in decision-making, and the opportunity to build a better future. The message is particularly important for Nigeria, where young people constitute a significant part of the population and poses enormous energy, creativity, and potential. Nigerian youths are making remarkable contributions in entrepreneurship, technology, agriculture, entertainment, sports, education, and community development. Challenges such as unemployment, poverty, inadequate educational opportunities, insecurity, substance abuse, political exclusion, and lack of access to affordable skills and finance continue to limit the potential of many young Nigerians. International Youth Day should be a reminder to government, parents, schools, communities, and the private sector that investing in young people is investing in the future of the nation. Government must create more opportunities for quality education, vocational training, entrepreneurship, and decent employment. Young people should also be given opportunities to participate in decision-making at local, state, and national levels. It is pertinent for the youths to embrace education, acquire useful skills, reject violence and criminality, and make responsible choices and positive social change. This will enhance national development. The older generation should inspire and encourage youths to imbibe good moral values at this time when violence, illegal drug use, internet fraud, ritual killings, kidnapping, depression and suicide are on the increase, there is the need for mentorship for the younger generation to shun crimes. Many youths are exposed to unfavorable conditions such as hunger, unemployment, poverty, sexual immorality, unwanted pregnancy and discrimination, which has increased the level of anxiety among them and in the society at large. To this end, there is need to create more room for entrepreneurship, information and communication technology development, which is the new gold mine in today's world. Youths, on their part, should be resilient, bold and courageous in the face of the daunting challenges facing them, as there is light at the end of the dark tunnel. The future is now. They should keep hope alive for that country where there is peace and harmony, justice and equity, conducive environment to thrive, and a place free from insecurities which they yearn for.
That script on the theme Different Contexts, Common Aspirations as the World Celebrates Youth's Day was written by an intern from the Polytechnic in Mesile, Osun State, Temitayo Ayodele, and read by Stephen Agbaji.
There is a forest somewhere in the land where trees were deformed to create natural curves. For details on these, Monyolu Afolabi is on ground.
The Crooked Forest is a grove of oddly shaped Scotch pine trees located in the village of Nowe, Zanowo, near the town of Gryfino in northwestern Poland. It is a protected natural monument of Poland. This grove of 400 pines was planted around 1930. Each pine tree bends sharply to the north, just above ground level, then curves back upright after a sideways excursion of 1 to 3 meters. The curved pines are enclosed by a surrounding forest of straight pine trees. The trees grow to about 50 feet in height, and the location was part of the German province of Pomerania. It is generally believed that some form of human tools or techniques were used to make the trees grow or bend, but the method has never been determined and remains a mystery to this day. It has been speculated that the trees may have been deformed to create naturally curved timber for use in furniture or boat building.
That script on Crooked Forest was written by an intern from Ifatos University, Cotonou, Adeola Alateshe.
To end the news on the world today from the stable of Radio Nigeria, here again are the day's top stories. The Osun State Police Commander summoned Senator Francis Fadausi, representing Osun East Senatorial District, over an alleged death threat against members of the opposition accord ahead of Saturday's governorship election in the state. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has urged traditional rulers across the state to mobilize their subjects as active participation in the 2027 general election and ensure the polls are conducted peacefully. Indonesia firefighters are making efforts to contain wildfires that have burned more than 107,000 hectares of land nationwide. And we also told you that Russia and Ukraine have traded deadly overnight drone attacks, killing 4 persons in Ukraine's southern port city of Kherson and towns along Russia's southern Black Sea coast.
Well, that's it on the world today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Modupe Toba edited. I am Nii Dansen from my colleague Olubukola Enimola. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant day.
Bye.